about what's new in Chrome. Thanks.
Thanks, Chet. When I saw Chet's photo on his slide, I don't know if you noticed, it was a lot more fun, so I ran outside and quickly changed mine. So I felt embarrassed that it'd be too, corporate-y or something. So yeah, I'm here to talk about how we can all be successful on the web, and I'm really excited to be actually back in India, because I'm from England, where the national dish, as you probably know, is chicken tikka masala. And finally, for the first time, I could get to say that we're home of the current Cricket World Cup champions. First time ever. I'm very lucky. Thank you. It was a pretty good World Cup, right? It was a good World Cup. Congratulations to New Zealand as well. This is me actually playing cricket with my brother. I grew up playing at Ilford County Cricket Club, where I got to play with two international captains. I got to play with Nasser Hussain and Steve Waugh back when we were kids, so I felt pretty lucky about that, so that was fun. But I know that there's a lot more to India than cricket and curry, and it's a really special market for us in Chrome. We saw earlier just the growth of the internet, and we're so excited that the web is able to reach more and more, getting to as many Indians out there. And Indian developers are some of the most engaged and sophisticated that we have on the web. I just checked our stats, and 35% of visits to our main website, web.dev, came from India in the last week. 35%, that's quite a lot. And you're creating these great web apps like Flipkart, Goibibo, Gaana, and many more. And your world-class developers are providing the brainpower behind many of the largest global companies. So really, you're powering a lot of the web. So how is that web actually feeling in 2019? We use the HTTP archive to see how the web is built, and we use the Chrome User Experience Report, or CRUX, to see how it is experienced. And the data we're seeing at the moment is pretty promising. So for the past year, we've seen positive growth globally in the percentage of sites with fast first contentful paint and first input delay. These are our core metrics for loading and interactivity. For India, we're seeing similar improvements, but the actual percentage of fast experiences is a little bit below the global average. So what can we do? So first, before we can improve, we need to measure and track what we're doing. And measuring user experience quality is multifaceted, it's not simple, so we're always working to integrate new metrics to tell a fuller picture. So last week we had Chrome Dev Summit, and we launched some new metrics there. LCP, or largest contentful paint, measures how quickly users see the largest and often the most meaningful content on the page, like a hero image or the main text. And LCP is built on top of the Element Timing API, which allows you to annotate elements that you care about. Now, I don't know about you, I've experienced this a lot, especially when buying things on holiday time. And so CLS, or Cumulative Layout Shift, measures the degree to which content may be shifting on the screen. And this metric is built on top of the Layout Stability API, which enables you to identify and fix different issues. But then how do you know how your sites are actually doing with all of these new metrics? So one simple way is to find out is just put a URL in PageSpeed Insights to get actionable recommendations for a particular page. But if you need help identifying hotspots or potential problems across your site, good news, we just released a new speed report in the Search Console. This gives you insights by showing groups of pages and how they perform for each key metric as shown by CRUX. And these metrics are reflected across all of our tools, including Chrome DevTools, as shown here, and Lighthouse. Now, maintaining a high-quality website requires a lot of diligence. We know it's a lot of work, and we got feedback from you that it would be really helpful to know the impact of every pull request made on a particular project. You do a pull request, how's it going to affect all of these metrics? So at CDS, we announced Lighthouse CI, which will do just that, giving you continuous insights, keeping you on track, and including a diff viewer to show you what changed and why. And to help you really understand these metrics, we've added clear guidance on web.dev, our primary developer website, which expanded with a lot of new content at CDS. So I mentioned how we can use the HTTP archive to kind of poke around at how the web was built. And so hypothetically, maybe you're up late at night, maybe you have a bit of jet lag when you've traveled to Bangalore, and you're thinking, like, what is the largest used z-index value on the web? And you look in HTTP archive, and you have a guess. What do you think? Like 10, 100, 1,000? Turns out it's 780 digits, which is more than a Google of digits, which is quite a lot of numbers. And so I had to take a look at the code, and this is what the code was on one of the websites. And it got me thinking about kind of the poor web developer who's sitting there shouting at the screen, saying like, "Div, I need you to be on the top." Just like willing it to happen in the UI. And of course, I love that there's an exclamation important at the end to like really force it through, and the comment at the top, fixed, done, perfect. Maybe add another 9 in there. So having access to this data is great, but it's insights that lead to fixes and improvements. And we're often asked, how do I actually act on all of this information? So we collaborated with experts from the community to build what we're calling the Web Almanac. And we launched the first 17 chapters at CDS last week on topics from markup, HTTP, PWA, and many more. Okay, so a few months ago, actually a bunch of us from the Chrome team came out to India and did a tour of a few different cities. And we noticed the massive variety of smartphones, and we tried to build some web apps on them, and we kind of felt the constraints firsthand. So we've been working on features to allow you to build more powerful, rich applications that work within these constraints. We want to talk about a couple of them. So at I/O, we gave a preview of an experimental API called Portals. So I don't know if you saw this, but portals allow you to create seamless navigation experiences by pre-rendering content and transitioning between them. As shown here from, this is Times Internet. So I'm really excited about this because it opens up new use cases. It makes you feel like you're surfing through the web on a powerboat without flashes of white content. You get to build all of these composable UIs on the web in a very simple way. Super excited about it. Then there are web bundles. So a web bundle is a binary package that takes all of the resources that your website needs, puts it all together, and once you've got that package, you can then just share it. You can email it, send it to someone over chat, put it on a USB, do P2P, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can get a package over to someone. And this is going to unlock really interesting use cases where you're just going to be able to have an offline-first experience that works without the network and all of these things. So we're super excited about what innovation is going to come with web bundles. Now, we're also always looking to bring the latest native capabilities to the web. So, for example, at CDS, we launched the SMS receiver and contact picker APIs. And when you put these together with a focus on the metrics and the quality that we talked about before, that's when the magic happens. Unfortunately, we have a phenomenal example of this that's from your own backyard. So we met Divjot from Swiggy at that recent India trip that I mentioned, and they've been having fabulous success with their mobile web strategy. So we thought it'd be fun just to invite him on stage to have a story not from a Googler, but someone actually building on the web. So how about we welcome out Divjot from Swiggy.
Thanks a lot, Dion. Hello. Yeah, thanks a lot, Dion. It's so great to be here with all of you. I'm Divjot, and I'm from Swiggy, and I work for the front-end team. And I'm here to talk about Swiggy's love affair with web. 9 months ago, I shared a similar sort of slide in a similar sort of event. And basically, there I said that Swiggy is around in 100 cities, and we were basically delivering food. And as per the third-party surveys, we were doing good, I guess. And fast forward to today, you can see that not only we are in food business, but also in other ventures. And the growth has been from 100 cities to now 500. So that's like crazy. So much so that we'll probably become the third largest employer by next year. It just blows my mind. As I was saying, the new ventures are Stores and Go. So Stores is basically a grocery delivery system where you can get your staples and all. And Go is basically a pickup drop service, a task runner for you. So you can get your errands done while sitting at home. More about them later. Let's talk about customers and experiences that web enables. One thing I feel that as a web surfer I see is that websites are not really getting enough attention and the love they need. Customers want your service right away, and any friction in that process is basically loss of business. And that means it could be a pop-up, it could be a banner, it could be asking your user to install an app. All these are basically friction, and it's bad for business. I'm quite happy that Swiggy, the leadership there, understands that and values web a lot. And I'm really happy that, Swiggy has a very nice PWA, and it's full-fledged with all the features, including live tracking. And this is quite important for us because our customers are not just any customers, they are very hungry. So we need to give them the food right away. As you can see, not only the live tracking is there, also the payments, all the transitions, screens. It's basically quite comparable to the native app. And we've also invested a lot of time to make sure that it's fast and has a good AMP website as well. Another thing I want to talk about is how not only getting the service to your customers is important, but also to make sure your website is tailored for their device. It's quite bad that if I open a website on desktop and if I'm asked to do something else, do extra work, you are basically creating friction again, and that's bad. Once again, I'm happy that the leadership here thinks of that and has really invested in making sure that the desktop experience as well as the mobile experience is beautifully crafted. And when I say beautifully, you can see that the extra space, the form factor, is made use of. The side menu helps you go through the menu fast. The cart gives you the confidence that, yeah, my cart is there and I can see the price and discounts and whatnot. So that really helps, and helps the high intent user who's on desktop wanting to get your service. And this shows. These are some conversion numbers from Swiggy to Tummy. And taking the baseline of mobile website for conversions, you can see that not only all of them are quite close enough, unlike the stigma where web is seen as low in conversions, but also desktop website is actually the leader in terms of conversions. And it's 15% more than the mobile, while Android and iOS are at 7%. This really proves the point that if you make a good website on desktop or any device per se, customers would show that, and your business numbers will show that certainly. Now, I hope this convinces you that investing time in web has really played out well for Swiggy. There are a lot of other things as well. One thing about web is that it's embeddable, and it's literally everywhere. Something which Leon just said, like Web Bundle would open up even more possibilities. This also opens up a lot of collaborations. One such is of that with Hotstar. So he mentioned about cricket, and I'm sure you all have seen the IPL and the World Cup. In that, you might have seen in Hotstar app, there was a Swiggy Pop integration. This was easy for us to do because, one, we had a web app which was on parity with native app, so the Pop feature was already there. And two, because it's web, the development time was quite less. They had to just make the implementation of the web view. We had to just adjust the UI a bit, and done. And this really helped us in reaching to more users. I mentioned about Swiggy Go. As you can see, this entire page transitions, all the clicks and tabs, all that is powered by web. So within our native app as well, a web view is opened, and you can't really tell, I guess. Not only Go, even stores, which is much more convoluted with a lot of page transitions and carousels and animations, all that is powered by CSS animations and SmartFull code splitting. Lastly, I want to talk about the platform and amount of investment done by browser vendors like Google Chrome and Firefox and whatnot. And they're really adding a lot of features that bring web to the native and sometimes even better experience, in my opinion. I'll share two such examples. These were also shared in the Chrome Dev Summit. These are experimental features under Origin trials, and anyone can basically get them to try with them. One such as SMS Receiver API. This essentially lets us get the experience of SMS OTP filling on par with native apps. And we have seen quite good numbers here. So the entire experience has been, the time spent there has reduced for our customers. And this basically means that signups and logins are much more faster, and the experience is just nice. Another example is Google Contact Picker. So for Swiggy Go, where you would want your task runner to go to A point, then B, and call someone up and bring something for you, it's really important that you can put the phone number easily. And this API essentially makes it seamless. And one thing I want to point out is that both these APIs are quite secure in the sense that your web view or the website is not really getting access to all your SMSs or contacts. It only gets it once the user presses the verify button in case of SMS, and in contacts when they choose the particular contact, and also the details they want to select. So it's quite secure that way, and websites won't get any data unless the customer or the user allows it. Finally, I want to say that web is here to stay, and so should your app. And investing good amount of time there is going to show up a lot. Thanks a lot.
Nice. Thank you so much, Divjot. That's a really, really cool story. I'm glad it came from here, too. So now that you've built this really fast, high quality, really capable, works great on Android PWA, just like Swiggy did, wouldn't it be nice to surface that in Google Play so users can actually discover it there? And that's where trusted web activities come in. So whether you want to package your PWA as an APK, or if you want to get some web content into the native app, as we just saw there with Swiggy and Swiggy Pop, that's all possible with TWAs. And at CDS, we launched a new tool called LlamaPack. And this allows you to just take a URL and get an Android Studio project right out of it so you can get going and get your PWA into Google Play. So we're really excited about that. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the web ecosystem at large. I think it's safe to say that kind of no other platform has quite the same level of innovation in user space on top of the platform. You know, we have all of these frameworks, libraries, CMSs, many of which have become kind of a household name at this point. And we love how each of these frameworks innovates from each other. Right? This is just a subset of all of the top web frameworks that are out there, and they're always learning from each other. We've been excited to see this innovation continue across the board, especially in the areas of performance and developer experience. And that's certainly true for Next.js, which is a really impressive framework that gives React developers an end-to-end system to allow for them to have scalable performance. And over the past few months, we've actually been working with the Next.js team to land a bunch of features, here's some of them here, that really unlock benefits for their developers. And the results have been really positive. For example, Barnaby's, they're an American auction site. They're able to get a 23% reduction in app size and notice significantly faster navigations, improved caching, and just a lot better business metrics across the board. Now, we want to support as many ecosystem players as possible, and so we announced a framework fund at the last Chrome Dev Summit, and we've been really excited to see all of these projects build out solutions, have a big impact, and we're keen to fund more work. So if there are things that you really want to see, especially in the open source communities, we'd love to help out. Another way in which we're trying to help the ecosystem is by opening up our tools. So for example, in Lighthouse, we recently announced our very first stack pack, which is one that was used for WordPress. And it allowed us to extend the general guidance to instead include actionable WordPress advice. And at CDS, we released a stack pack for the open source e-commerce platform Magento, as well as expanding our coverage to include packs from a bunch of web frameworks such as Angular, React, and AMP. And so we can go there and working with the community, build out these different stack packs to make our tools really understand what they're doing. Now, we also know that many of you go the extra mile and put a lot of sweat into building these great web experiences, and we want to reward you for the hard work that you have. So we're looking at how we can highlight and surface more quality signals to our users across search, and as we're showing here, Chrome's UI with speed as a core metric. We're not looking to rush this and turn this on tomorrow and freak everyone out. We want to do this very deliberately with the ecosystem, similar to what we did when collectively we moved to a much more secure web. We moved mountains by shifting traffic from 30 to 90% on HTTPS in 5 years. And I remember at the beginning people saying, like, this can't be done. It's a messy ecosystem. How are we going to do it? Everyone kind of pulled together, and we pulled it off. What can we do for performance and quality from now on? So I'm super excited about us working to improve the web and make you successful, no matter which framework or CMS that you use. And I really hope that you set bold quality goals. use our tools and services to understand the experience your users are getting, and then create the high-quality experiences that we all want to see as a link at the end of our World Wide Web. And now, to update us on what's new with Flutter, let's invite Martin from the Flutter team.
Thanks, Dion.